Welcome back in, everybody. This is Backlash by Susan Faludi. Welcome to the black screen. All right, so we did this last night. If you were here, welcome back. If you're a first timer, welcome. My background. Okay, this is the hard part for me. I don't like labeling myself. I am a fourth wave feminist and democratic socialist. Beyond that, you'd have to ask me about individual beliefs, individual policies, individual philosophies when it comes to relationships or just gender dynamics, interaction in general. I couldn't go over all of that. I don't even know where to begin. But just to humanize myself a little bit, I had a rough go of it at the coffee maker a minute ago. I was going to make some tea for this, and I accidentally, just out of habit, put a K-cup in. And I was making coffee, and it's 11 at night. I was like, I got coffee at 11 at night. I can still sleep. But then I guess God was sending me a message, don't drink that. Because I knocked the whole thing over somehow all over myself, all over my shorts, all over the floor. I had to mop that up, and I made tea instead, which I originally was going for, which will not keep me up all night. Anyways, I would love for people to interact or do feedback, but I get why. I know it's weird probably for you having a male, interested in feminism in your space or whatever. But I believe we can collab, we can work together. We have a lot more in common than we have different. And I've always felt comfortable in a feminist space. But I can understand women. I understand why people don't immediately reach out to you, because I understand that. I know I'm saying that a lot. Because it bothers me, the dynamics of fear. Because I understand. I'm sorry, it's like a vocal tick. It's hard to talk about this stuff because I hate the way things are with the dynamics between men and women. And I know there's like fear there where it's hard for a woman to even over the internet to approach or talk to somebody they don't know. Y'all don't know me. I don't know y'all from Adam. You know what I mean? But I just try to present myself as best as I can and express myself in the most accurate way possible. And I'm a human being. I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. But just trying to build a connection here. Build bridges. Okay, so we read up until preface page 8 last night. I wanted you through 10. A lot of yapping, but we got through 8. So let's begin. How was it that American feminism, poised to win its great symbolic victory, expected to win by all the polls and pundits, has suffered its greatest defeat? Many feminists were blindsided by the results. We take and cheer from the stories of erstwhile female Trump supporters switching horses after the hot mic video of Trump's boorish preening surfaced. We thrilled to the reports of more than 1 million women joining Facebook's secret pantsuit nation page in the final days before the election, and the polls in late October predicting a Hillary Clinton landslide. By the way, just the backstory, I guess, add to my backstory. I was not a feminist when the 2016 election was going on, because to be honest with you, I didn't know what feminism was. Back in 2016, I was just concerned with drinking beer and having fun with my friends. Like, I just did not. Of course, I was politically engaged, but like 2016 election was something I kind of tuned out because of how dark it was, and I just got nothing out of it. I did vote for Hillary Clinton, but that was just like the extent of my political activity in 2016. I was just concerned with other things, college, and just having fun. You know what I mean? Anyways, where are we? We believed, in spite of the unmitigated Republican assault, in spite of the vitriol pumped out 24/7 by Fox News, Breitbart, and the proliferating megaphones of the alt-right, and in spite of Clinton's own missteps, weakness, and inability to wow the crowds. Wow, she's going harder on Hillary than me. Like, I liked Hillary as a candidate. I like Kamala Harris too, though. This says a lot about me. You know, I'm a Democratic socialist, but I will vote for a Democrat, like, even if they're like a corporate Democrat, because they're always going to be better than the Republican. And I was actually excited about the Harris-Walsh ticket. I wasn't just voting against Trump. I was excited, affirmatively excited, to have a female president, for one. And I think she's going to do a great job. I think she was the right person in this moment in history that we needed. I think she was a blank slate that was eager and had unlimited potential to be a great executive. Okay. There was still a shoulder-to-shoulder groundswell building quietly among women across the country. a wave that would crest on election day. We felt so sure that Trump's sexual outrages would unite the female masses that we missed a major danger flare coming from within our own ranks. Let me take a sip of my tea. We're going to be here a while, people. It was a heartache to read the exit polls, which suggested 52 to 53% of white women voted for Trump compared to 4% of black women. Yeah, baby. And 26% of Latino women. Latino women, I think, bumped up a little bit for Trump, but for the most part, they vote Democrat. It's the Latino men that we have to worry about. I think they get their mind right, though. When Pew Research conducted a more thorough examination of the voting data in 2018, it found more than 47% of white women voted for Trump compared to well under 1% of black women and 28% of Latino women. While a significant majority of white women with the undergraduate degree or more supported Hillary Clinton, 61% according to 2018 Pew Research study. That's kind of white women I like, with degrees that vote right. 56% of white working class women defined as women without degrees back Trump. And I'm not like being an elitist. I mean, I would obviously date a woman without a degree. I have, but I'm just in terms of belief system. Like I jive with a white woman with a college degree, and I have. In the 48 hours after the election results hit, young feminist writers turned to the web to vent their rage at Trump's female supporters. They sold out the sisterhood and betrayed their sex. I'll be honest, I've been let's see, what's the word I'm looking for? I've been motivated to do that. Like I wanted to like lash out at the women that voted for Trump. I do it from time to time, but I try to do it in a gentle, respectful way. I'm just asking questions why you would do that. But it really set us back. I really thought that what is this lack of solidarity when it comes to white women and like women running for office? Like, and I've asked AI because I've never come across these women in real life. I've asked AI, and it said they choose their white identity, their white skin over their identity of being a woman, which is crazy to me. Like, white skin's not going to save you from being abused. Like, there's more women than men in this country. I wish there was solidarity amongst you all. I know it's going to be mostly women watching these videos, and I appreciate the 12 views or whatever I got for the first one. I expected to wake up and see no views. And I was in shock that I got double digits. But, man, I just want to say I love you guys. I'm talking about all women. But, man, like some of these voting habits make 0 sense. And I wish it was not that way. Because we have potential to get over this hump together. I believe that. Women, minorities, gay people, lesbian, trans, bisexual, queer, intersex, asexual, I'm with everybody. Every marginalized person. If we come together, we could win. Because there's more of us than there are white men. But I truly do love you guys. Like, if you're listening, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I try to separate us. I'm not like most men. I try to be different. Man, we are 8 minutes. We haven't got through that page. I'm sorry, but no doubt some of these Trump women deserved all the calumny. Man, she's got a big vocabulary. Susan Faludi's hell of a right. She's gonna broaden my vocabulary. Because I'm undoubtedly gonna pick up some of these words. Or inevitably gonna pick up some of these words. No doubt some of these Trump women deserved all the calumny. Maybe many were bigots or homophobes. Many probably were. Or masochistic marionettes of Archie Bunker husbands. That is a scary thought. But how will we know? That's what I want to know. We can't ask these people. One of the great failings of 2016 was the lack of substantive reportage, much less intelligent diagnosis. Yes, on the state of mind of white working class women. What were you thinking? This dude said grab him by the pussy. He's a rapist. In the days after the election, New York Daily News columnist Leonard Green was one of the few to note the void. We'd heard so much these last few years about angry white man. So it's no surprise that 63% of white men, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I wrote them off long ago. White men, what can I do with them? Like maybe like 10% of them I can work with. Voted for Trump. He wrote the day after the election. Well, guess what? I'm just going to be real about race dynamics. Like white men over like 35, I can't do nothing with. White women were angry too. but we were too busy staring through the glass ceiling and admiring the Jacob Javits Center for Symbolism to notice. In fact, NBC/Esquire survey in January 2016 found that the angriest group poll was white women. And they voted for Trump. 58% of whom reported feeling angrier than they had a year earlier. And they didn't vote for the white woman running. You screwed Hillary over. And now look at us. Look at us now. Compared with 51% of white men, 40% of non-white women, 32% of non-white men. Like in 2016, I wouldn't say I felt angry. It's like just reminiscing back what that moment felt like. It's like coming off Barack Obama, I was sad. Like I literally cried. And I'm open about my emotions and shit. I cry all the time. I cried and walked up to my mom. This was a long time. It was 2016. I was a lot younger. I went up to my mom and said, why can't Obama just serve another term? She said, it's not how it works. And I knew that deep in my heart. I was just sad and like kind of like a hangover feeling. Because I knew in bottom of my heart that Trump was going to win. It just felt like an anti-establishment moment. And Hillary was just too qualified and too good at what she does. If people don't like a strong woman in this country, because we've been conditioned to like submissive women. It wasn't only the establishment media that failed to listen. For all the talk about online feminism mobilizing a global sisterhood, and for all the backpatting among progressive women in the academy about how intersectional we are these days, the feminist blogosphere paid little heed to the conditions and circumstances of vast demographic of women who didn't fit the stock 3 archetypes of a feminist taxonomy: urban left intellectual, grassroots crusader for the marginalized, and professional lean-in-er. Did white working class women betray feminism, or feminism betray them? I don't know, man. I hope this book can enlighten me about why they did what they did. I do not have an answer for that. Since its discovery in the early 1970s, American feminism has established itself as a permanent, albeit ever-shifting feature of the nation's cultural landscape. I just don't see it. Like, I wish it was more vocal. If it was more vocal, then it would get abuse from men. I guess that's why it's not more vocal. It's in the blogosphere or whatever, which I don't go to those blogs. I don't invade like any female spaces. Even on like YouTube channels, like a female artist or whatever. If I see it's like all female avatars, female names, I don't even leave a comment. As such, its state of being bears inspecting. While women's equality is not as the Backlash era mantra went, making American women unhappy, something is stressing the internal workings of feminism. Something is fueling its periodic eruptions of stutter, stop, and tear down. That's a good way to put it. Stutter, stop, and tear down. Like you make progress, then all of a sudden they just tear it down. And as a black person experienced that my entire life, that's how you treat us. So I feel kinship with this movement. The repeated and now catastrophic reversals of the campaign for women's equality in the last century require that we look within as well as without for the sources of its disquiet. In recent years, the feminist movement has undergone great change. Many of those changes are for the better, but each has introduced new vulnerabilities. Feminism has become more conscious of the need for intersectionality. Yeah, I'm trying to accept me. Like I'm just begging for. I'm so pathetic. Like it's like intersectionality is like. Doesn't mean like, not just white women, like everybody else can be a feminist. Let me look at the definition of intersectionality, because I don't want to sound stupid. Isn't it like just like accepting other groups into the feminism? Like, or like overlapping feminism with other causes? Intersectionality is a framework. Oh yeah. Overlapping identities such as race, gender, class, sexuality, combining create unique experiences of discrimination or privilege. It explains that different forms of inequality are interconnected rather than it's like at first feminism was just white women, right? They left out black women, and like I believe it's for everybody now. I hope so. Okay, I'm trying to learn all the terms. I'm reading the literature right now. I'm doing more than most men. I'm trying to escape the patriarchy here. As best as I can, buying the books. I don't know what the fuck else to do. Because, like, nobody wants to have these conversations in real life. Nobody wants to have them online. I can't find any discussions on here. Nobody will reply to my videos. Like, I'm trying my best. You watch the videos, but don't interact with it. Like, I don't bite. Like, what is the deal here? Like, I watch all these other YouTubers, like, way less intellectually curious than me, and they got all these comments. Maybe it fucking intimidates people because there's too much here. I don't know what the fuck it is. I got a lot on my mind. I'm passionate about the things I care about, and I really care about this stuff. And like, you can't find no dude is gonna talk about this. Like, that's why it makes you feel alone. But I know I'm not alone. It's the most frustrating part. It has become more youth-centric, but has that also made it ageist. It has celebrated women's individual expression and empowerment, but has that fostered a standalone vision of feminism averse to collective action. It has conquered much of popular culture, but has it relinquished authority to corporate sponsors and movie stars? I think so. It shined a needed spotlight on sexual harassment and assault. Has it overdone the portrait of women as helpless prey without agency or sexual desires of them? I don't know about that. It has expanded the traditional agenda of women's equality to champion LGBT rights, but has the W become lost? What's the W? What you mean by the W? What's the W? The women? The women's movement has also been self-critical, sometimes to the point of sororicide. I guess like sister, kill sister, sisterhood, kill. Its modern history is plagued with rivalries, competing theories, and opposing camps. Yeah, that's one thing I do. Like, feminists do divide themselves into like competing camps for some reason. Like, we're all in this together. Listen to me, man. I never talk like this unless I'm discussing these things, political theories or feminism. Like, this is where I can be myself. It's like people see me all cocky as you're playing a video game or whatever. That's a character. This is just Gary. So like when I'm gardening, when I'm doing this, there's no ego here. I turn that off. All to the good. Argumentation can be healthy. Except when divisions defeat us. Yes, we shouldn't fight amongst ourselves like that. Debate, but don't fight. The suffrage campaign's shining moment of history, the winning of women's right to vote in August 1920, had its larger promise reduced to ashes half year later after its mass coalition built over 80 years blew apart at the convention of women's organizations. The National Women's Party managed to alienate just about every wing of the movement by insisting on a single-minded focus on the Equal Rights Amendment, which we still haven't passed, and sidelining the pressing issues of black women's disenfranchisement at the polls. Yeah, that's what I've been worried about. They left black women out. Just like we got left out of the New Deal. Always getting fucked over. Like, we're people too. You understand that? We either, just like you, want the same things you want. At the end of the day, we treat like fucking animals. It's sidelining the pressing issues of black women's disenfranchisement at the polls and labor conditions of female factory workers, aid for working mothers, and safe and legal birth control. Then what the fuck were they fighting for? Just the right to vote? 2 months after the convention, the National Women's Party, which had 50,000 dues-paying constituents at the peak of 1919, was down to what? 151 members? Man, they really did alienate everybody. Everybody quit. Damn. Are you 50,000 to 151? What the fuck? I guess in 1919, you had time to like think about this stuff. You were really passionate about it because there was no distractions. Is it 1919? What the fuck you gonna do to distract yourself? You couldn't vote. You're probably angry all the time. You living with these men probably abusing you, and you still were strong enough to fight for the right to vote. And then the Women's National Party alienated everyone. That had to be a hell of a fucking feeling. You got the right to, but then everything falls apart. And that seems like it was on purpose, which may have been a backlash. God damn it, I love this book. The radical feminists of the 1970s likewise fell victim to... I'm going to wind up reading this whole book on camera, aren't I? It's going to be like 30 fucking parts. If I did 30 parts, that's 20 pages a day. We could do that. Likewise fell victim to the internecine... And I apologize all the yapping. I love this book. I don't yap unless I love something. Battles and denunciations. A social disease of the era's feminism, as feminist political scientist Joe Friedman famously diagnosed it, was trashing or speaking ill of one's sisters, which we shouldn't do. Like a cancer, she wrote, the attacks within the so-called feminist sisterhood spread from those who have reputations to those who were merely strong, from those who were active to those who merely had ideas, from those who stood out as individuals to those who failed to conform rapidly enough to the twists and turns of the changing line. God, I love the way she writes. The first wave of the women's movement committed to abolition suffrage had ugly divisions too, but managed to maintain its momentum, excuse me. We're about to wrap up. We're getting over 20 minutes. We may go 30. These days, the waves come by the minute. The ink, I'd go an hour if people could watch it. The ink is barely dry on the latest manifesto before the takedown impulse kicks in. The 1990s third wave, proclaiming its pro-sex orientation and pop culture sophistication, barely got underway before it was eclipsed by the Twitter and Tumblr feminism of the fourth wave, proclaiming its greater sensitivity to microaggressions and denouncing the white feminism of its foremothers. What white feminism? That's so just makes me sad. This white feminism. Why can't it just be for everybody? These always got to divide us. Even collective movements like this have to be divided by race. Thank God for intersectionality. How to explain the fervor to denounce the second wave? What was the second wave like? That was like what, the 60s? I think first wave was the like right to vote. 60s was like the sexual revolution of the 60s. The second was like the sexual revolution of the 60s, right? And it was for like birth control, contraceptives, and the third wave is the 90s, and we're in fourth wave now, I believe. Second wave as purely privileged and white when in fact it was widely diverse and variegated, engaging women of every social, economic, racial, occupational, and geographic stripe. The National Welfare Rights Organization, 9 to 5, Stewardesses for Women's Rights, and Waitress for Housework, to name just a few. God, I love this. We're almost done. We read a couple more pages and wrap it. The last wave turned on its own within months. Golly, ladies, come on, why we turn on each other like that? By 2014, feminist writer Michelle Goldberg was chronicling one of the more public bloodlettings of the nation article, Feminism's Toxic Twitter Wars. And man, Twitter is so toxic. And like these snark subreddits, I admit, you may have this guilty pleasure. I know a lot of women probably do. I'm not a woman, obviously, but you gotta be an honorary woman at least. But I feel like, this is the weird thing. I feel like a woman when I read this stuff, when I'm trying to build a connection with people. That's why I love the feminism. I said the other night, it allowed me to unlock parts of myself I didn't know I had. And now I can experience my full humanity. But the Twitter, like the snark subreddits, they are vicious. And I admit it's a guilty pleasure, something I like to read. Because I don't know why that part of my psychology, but I'm not alone. I don't know, sometimes you just watch people tear each other apart. I don't engage in it. But man, they are so toxic. And like they feign like they care about these people in like this, the way they, I don't know, it's hard to explain. These are very evil people. But it's fun. It's like animals in a zoo. It's like interesting to observe. Anyways, Twitter is really bad too. Michelle Goldberg was chronicling one of the more public bloodlettings in her Nation articles, Feminism, Twitter, Toxic Wars. A group of young online feminists had gathered at Barnard College and produced a report, Fem Future Online Revolution, which called on established female rights organizations and nonprofits to provide funding for youthful online feminism, in particular online activism by minority and trans women who were often left out of mainstream media narratives. That's true. The group was promptly savaged as a cabal of white opportunists. What? Even though 9 of the 21 members were in fact women of color. Right? I hate when shit like that happens. And nobody cares about the facts. Like Bernie Sanders got called sexist. We got called Bernie bros. When the majority of Bernie supporters were women. And the mainstream media never allowed that to be said. I went to Bernie rallies. It was mostly fucking women. White women at that, yeah, but women. The group was probably savage as cabal of white opportunists. The fury came from real or concocted young women's interest groups from every corner, including those, as Goldberg reported, who were incensed that a report about online feminism left out women who aren't online. What do you mean women who are? Who's not online? Like, oh, okay, I don't know. I don't want to say anything ageist. Perhaps even more than other political movements, feminism seems to rely on new and improved as operational ethos, the subtext being that previous iterations of feminist thought are inherently old and unimproved and too slipshod to build on. Saying this, of course, can feel like committing the same sin. This woman writes like an English teacher, man. I want to meet Susan Faludi. Teach me some words. If the problem is feminism's reflective critiquing of, I'd love to pick her mind. Critiquing of feminism, how do you critique it without contributing to the problem? On the other hand, how do you search for solutions without a critique? Wrapping up, people. At the Democratic National Convention in August 2016, young women delegates made plain their lack of enthusiasm for the women who had won the party's nod. On the night of Clinton's acceptance speech at DNC, I walked to the floor to ask female delegates under 40 what they thought of the nominee. It was surprisingly difficult to find a woman delegate under 40 who supported Clinton. I can see that. Like, they wanted Bernie. At Clinton's own convention, this was a challenge. Of the 5 women I interviewed, only one was Clinton's advocate. One of the delegates I had started to interview said she didn't want to go on the record against Clinton, although she was. The trend had been clear since the primaries when so many progressive-minded millennial women, like their male counterparts, became entrenched with the candidacy of Bernie Sanders. I said this. And doubtful of the need for a woman in the White House. I don't know about that. I did want a woman in the White House, but I was a Bernie supporter in 2016 and 2020, but I believe it is important to see a female in the White House because, like, just to prove that America can be better than what we are. And it'll be a nice motivation for little girls across this fucking country that they can be more. It's like Barack Obama showed me I can do something. I gotta believe in myself. The trend had been clear since primaries when so many progressive-minded... Oh, I read that, sorry. In a post-2016 poll, only 14% of young women said that electing the first female U.S. president was an important factor in their choice of a candidate. That's crazy to me, though. They don't care at all. Wow. The news report, that has got to be in trenched like paternalism, like the father shit. Because I just don't how do you don't think it's important to see a female president as a woman? Like, why do I think it's important? I feel like, man, sometimes I'm more passionate about women's rights than they are. It's a bad thing to say. I want all your rights. I don't understand, man. You don't think it's important? I do, but I just can't understand wrapping my mind around the mindset of only 14% of young women thought a female in the office is important. Wow. I just need it for optics' sake. It's a big thing. It can inspire people. You never know. You don't think Sally Ride, the first female astronauts, inspired women out there to become pilots and astronauts? Hillary Clinton wanted to be an astronaut, but when she was a child, they didn't allow. She wrote to NASA, and they wrote back, little girl, that women can be astronauts. That's what I'm talking about. Things like that. It matters. Representation matters. The news reports the week of the Iowa Democratic caucus were full of quotes from young female voters like, I feel like I grew up in a pretty equitable society where I think men and women are based fairly. What? I think you need to care more about the issues than gender. How about now? All my professors are women. There was also a widespread weariness. People are so insular in their own lives. All my professors are women, so we got equality and equity. Now reproductive rights are gone. And also a widespread weirdness with the unsexy specter of an older woman seeking to appeal on the basis of experience and policy expertise. As one young woman before the New Hampshire primary put it to me, a Time reporter recalled just before Clinton lost that state race, going to a Hillary rally was like going on a date with an actuary. What? You knew what she was saying was important, but it was really boring. That's crazy, man. People worry about the wrong things. I don't care that Hillary was boring. She was better than Trump. In the end, faced with a sexist buffoon in the pocket of the anti-abortion evangelical right, As their only other option, young women held their nose and gave Clinton a majority of their votes, albeit a notable 6 percentage points less than they gave to Obama. Yeah, women love Obama. I can see that because he's hot. I can see that as a straight man. He's a very good looking guy. And I think that played a big part in it. Because we like looks. As human beings in general. Young women's lack of ardor was evident too in their smaller turnout, so much smaller that for the first time in decades, young white female voters cast fewer ballots than did their male counterparts. Turnout among young men, by contrast, was the highest it had been in 12 years to go vote for Trump. Or, wait, y'all think young men voted for Trump. That reversal was a disaster for Clinton. While 63% of young white women voted for her, only 47% of young men did. Oh, okay, yeah, they did. Likewise, young black female voters turned out in lower numbers for Clinton than they had for Obama. Damn, man. Clinton just got savaged. A decline that was particularly evident and damaging in swing states. Why did so many women desert or deny the women candidate? It wasn't because her base was more conservative. During the primaries, Clinton supporters polled consistently to the left of Sanders on issues after issues, like raising the minimum wage, increasing government spending on health care, expanding government services through higher taxes, defending Social Security and Medicare. I wonder who Susan Faludi supported in 2016. I would guess Hillary. And it wasn't because feminist concerns were adequately represented by her Democratic opponent. While Clinton placed women's rights at the center of her campaign policy plans and has long championed gender equality legislation from pay equality or equity to family leave to reproductive freedom, Sanders treated women's issues as a footnote to his large economic program. He treats every identity issue as a footnote. He just focuses on his economic policy. He doesn't really talk about black issues or any of that. And that turns some people off. But for me, I don't want to talk about race. While Clinton placed women's rights at the center of her campaign policy plans, long championed gender equity legislation from pay equity to family to reproductive freedom, Sanders treated women's issues as a footnote to his large economic program. It has never single-handedly initiated a women's rights bill in the Senate. As Emless President Stephanie Chirac noted, Sanders even failed to mention anything about abortion, contraception, or reproductive rights anywhere in his entire health plan. Okay, that's a problem. I didn't know he did that. I would have definitely mentioned reproductive rights on the health care plan. I'll read this program or this paragraph and wrap up, everybody. We're quite a bit in, 32 minutes, but I had a great time. I love this book, and I hope at least somebody can click this and watch some of this and get something out of it, because I truly am trying my best here. Nor were Sanders' more ardent male supporters particularly welcoming to women. Okay, yeah, she definitely was not a Sanders supporter in 2016. It sounds like she believes the Bernie bro narrative. Which, okay. Yeah, damn, she's about to say Bernie bros. Throughout the campaign, female journalists reported threats and abuse from Bernie bros. More virulent, some of them said, than the treatment they received from Make America Great Again. What? So you tell me Bernie bros were meaner than Trump's? I don't believe that. What is even a Bernie bro? I've never met a Bernie bro. What are these mythical Bernie bros? Given what explains the disconnect between Clinton's feminism and feminism with so many women, it might have been her supporters. Okay, we're going to find that out next time. We're going to wrap this up. Okay, guys, that's it. I hope this isn't too long. I definitely rambled too much. But I had thoughts, and I learned a lot tonight. And thanks for joining me. Love you. God bless you. And keep your head up. One day we're all going to get over that hill together.